The City of Soundsville is the name of this podcast, and as always, I am your host, Shadow Streak, and joined by me is...
RJ App. Ow. That was the loudest you've ever did that.
Just hurt yourself? You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
What can I say, except you're welcome? So, you okay? Have you recovered from that? Or are you still...
No, I can't hear you, but let's record a podcast anyway.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you know what? We'll just kind of wing it and see how it goes. Okay. So yes, everyone, welcome back to the City of Soundsville. If you're just tuning in for the first time, we have already covered the first 2 seasons of the Powerpuff Girls on this series, and now we are in the 3rd season of the show. So this week and moving forward for the next 13 episodes, we're going to be talking about season 3 of the Powerpuff Girls. But before we get into all of that, RJ, is there any news or anything exciting you would like to share?
Something I just found out, like, just this moment, which some of you guys might have known this. StyleandBoxes.com has a Powerpuff Girls mystery box. It's $70, so I think I'll let you guys try this one out for me. But, they have a few Powerpuff trinkets in it. They sent Tara Strong one, apparently.
Do they actually tell you what's in the mystery box, or, like, do they keep it a secret?
I'll let you figure this one out.
RJ, you can't just do that.
It's a mystery box. It's a mystery box.
I'm never gonna buy this thing. I'm never gonna buy this thing. And why would I buy something that I don't know what I'm getting?
So there's a review, guys. Yeah, you guys won't know as it's a review as it's a mystery box. You won't know exactly what's in there.
I mean, okay,
it's Powerpuff Girls merchandise.
Not to like tangent on this too much, but like I've never understood the mystery box thing. Because, like, how do you know what you're getting? And how do you know if what you're buying is actually worth your money?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll send you a video of Tara Strong opening one, and you could... It's just Powerpuff Girls trinkets. I wouldn't...
That's not going to convince me.
I'm not saying... I don't think you're going to buy this anyway, but I'm just letting people know it's out there.
I'm not. I'm definitely not.
What?
That's fair, I suppose.
But you don't understand, eventually, like, the bottom line of this podcast is to support capitalism a little bit. And...
Is it?
I think it goes back to capital.
I thought it was to argue about what company has a more popular capitalistic property than the
Okay, well, I have a capitalistic opinion on that, which is, one show wins. That's one show and wasn't based on a toy line that went on since the 80s. But, I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree.
Man. Well, let's rename this podcast to the RJ is Wrong podcast. How about we do that
name for this podcast?
Yes, it is. It's everything you say is.
Then we'd get viewer complaints being like, "Hey, this podcast is misnamed because RJ is actually right about this particular issue." But hey, man, if that's what you're going on.
That particular issue being anything other than the main argument between us.
What? Who?
Because you're wrong. I just wanted to start a fight.
It worked.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad I got under your skin again. That brings me a lot of joy.
So, new co-host for the next episode is auditions and tryouts are opening.
Yeah. Oh, are you leaving the podcast?
Yeah. After this one.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I need to reflect for this one.
All right, guys. Well, next episode we'll be replacing RJ with somebody else who actually understands and comprehends the popularity of a media franchise.
This isn't a great way to go out, guys. This isn't a great way to go out. I'm gonna have to tell my grandkids about this.
All right, no. All jokes aside. Yeah, I will say I don't know. I really can't think of an instance where I'd want to buy like a mystery something or other. Like, I just don't feel comfortable spending money on something I don't actually know what I'm getting in return or in exchange for.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, the reason I want to get this is I don't reboot stuff mixed with original, which I know that sounds like a nitpick, but that's $70, man. I think I'm allowed to be nitpicky.
No, it's actually complete.
Yeah, that's my money. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Argument. I refuse to spend so much as a cent on that garbage.
Yeah, it's kind of mixed in here, But they have a few. If you're interested in like 90s stuff, mostly they have a lot of that stuff. There's Rugrats. I see Power Rangers. I see He-Man for 80s kids. Yeah, so interesting stuff if you're willing to pay that much, and you're into mystery boxes.
Fair enough. Yeah, not for me, but I'm sure there's other people out there that think that kind of thing is cool. So more power to them. I don't really have anything
Stranger
else to
Things.
add on that comment, but yeah, sounds fun. I guess
Maybe one day. Because actually, I don't know. I think I would like to invest in one of these. Anyways, yeah, support everybody, in these businesses and give them money.
just give them money,
man.
Give them money. Yep. All right. Well, that being said, would you like to transition over and move into our first episode of this season?
Yeah. We're on season 3.
All right. We are. I know. We're already halfway done with the good stuff.
That's a negative. That's so negative.
More negative than positive. That's actually so depressing to think about. Like, oh man, we're already halfway done with the good ones.
Do you want to say anything about season 3 before we start?
The only real thing I have to say, and this is going to be dated at some point, but going into this, the only thing I really have to say about season 3 is that I've always considered it one of the best. But I always went back and forth about what season I would consider the best of the show. And when I made my video on it in, I think 2019, I did a video ranking all 6 seasons. And I believe I shouldn't say I believe, I know that I ranked season 2 over season 3.
I can confirm that.
However, I feel like after going through season 2 with my video and our podcast episodes, I'm going to come out of season 3 thinking season 3 is better. I really do think after watching through season 2 and really thinking it through, I get the feeling I'm going to come to the conclusion when we're done with season 3 that season 3 is the best season.
And that's because Miss Keena's in it less,
but
right?
I could be wrong about that. Yes, that's exactly why.
And that's not even a joke. I don't think that's
it's a multitude. It's a multitude of reasons for sure, but I looked back over like the list of episodes that there are to talk about, and I mean, this season may not have best rainy day adventure ever, but there's still a lot of good episodes with a lot of interesting talking points and concepts and things like that I'm definitely eager to get into when we get to them. So, I definitely think that I'm gonna come out of season 3 with, I hope I have more appreciation for it than I already have. Because that's how I felt with season 1 when we did season 1. And season 2, I unfortunately did not have the same kind of gained appreciation that I did for season 1. As far as like level is concerned. Season 2, I felt like actually kind of just like, most of this I already kind of felt. And I didn't really gain a whole lot. So I'm hoping season 3 can be better than that. But there's a lot of good episodes this season that I'm excited to talk about. So.
Yeah, most of them are good. Season 3 is also my favorite production season of the show. But and the interesting thing about it is like you were talking, I don't even think season 3, like to the public at least, has as many memorable episodes to people as season 2 does. And I think maybe that might have something to do with the fact that I think season 1 and 2 might have been more well represented by the DVD and VHS releases. Because I think one thing, I guess people don't talk about, or like at least I guess maybe it's just something I think, maybe it's not entirely true, but I don't know if everybody got Cartoon Network back then necessarily. So some people might have just been watching through those VHS releases. Or, I also, Kids WB in 2002 started airing the show. So that was like,
Well, the other thing...
So, those were non-cable airings. I'm sorry. Those were non-cable airings. So, some people were saying this is the first time I'm seeing the show. So maybe that's why.
Yeah, I think another thing to consider with Powerpuff is season 3. I mean, at this point, season 1 and 2 have already been on the air for a couple years. At least one.
Sure.
At least 1 year. Season 1 been airing for about 2. So they also have just the longevity advantage of being reran more. So they would have aired more than season 3 did. And then there's also the fact, like you said, that I think is a main contributor is definitely like the VHS episodes, because they were able to push those. And, I never had a Powerpuff VHS. I did have some VHS tapes of some other things. Like I think some Scooby-Doo movies and whatnot. But I definitely think that that's probably a contributing factor. But it's interesting because I feel like season 3 is when the show really had hit its stride in popularity.
I think 2000
it was
probably the peak popularity of the show, I would say. Or 2001. Maybe 2000 though. I would say
2001 is
2000
what I'm
maybe.
saying. I don't know. I mean,
This
what's
is
the
this
difference,
is an
right?
extremely nerdy
It
subject.
was
but,
popular.
like,
It was popular. So like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, but like, I would agree that when it comes to like online presence, it's like I can think of tons of season 2 episodes that get referenced all the time.
Right.
Whether it's the Cartman cameo in Imaginary Fiend, or it's Lenny Baxter, or Eat Your Pea Professor, you know, in those episodes, or you know, it's the Best Rainy Day Adventure, of course, and just there's all sorts of episodes that get referenced, and it's like when I think of season 3, like I'm trying to think of like popular caps or memes or things like that from this season. And I mean, there's definitely some in there, but nothing like screams out to me the way that season 2.
Yeah, you know, I would think
had.
like if somebody was like only going off memories from childhood, I think season 3 they probably wouldn't recognize a few of these, I would say. But like the only reason I brought that up was to make a point about season 3, which is like even some of the lesser ones, I think like the writing is still and the jokes are just like, you know, at a level above the lesser episodes of other seasons. This is more
Yes.
consistent for me.
I also
Because like, yeah, the ones people don't care about from this season, I still like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, yeah, it's the
Yeah.
writing, the jokes, like all of it. The action, the look of the show. I think it's like, I would say everything's fully developed. And not that it wasn't or 2 or even like the second half of season 1, but for whatever reason, I really love season 3 of the show.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking back through the list again, and it's like when I look at these, I mean, so many of these are just hits. Like they may not all of them are like to that level of popularity, but like I'm looking at them, it's like there are episodes in here that a subsection of the internet loves to just dunk on and hate, which they're not exactly accurate about. But aside from that, it's like there's one episode in here that I think is just kind of like meh. But other than that, like every other episode, there's something to talk about. It's super interesting. It's super fun. There's memorable lines. Like there's so much in here that like season 2, like for where the good episodes shine, there were some meh to episodes. Like I don't know. There's one episode that I would say is, yeah, there's one episode on here that I'd be like, this is kind of meh. Every other episode I would say is better than Pet Feud.
Yeah. And yeah, not to hate on Pet Feud.
isn't
It's
a
just like
bad
there's not
episode,
that
it's
much
just-
to chew on. Yeah.
No. But it's like to explain like the bar, you know, it's like none of this stuff comes close to how I feel about daylight savings. And like for me, like again, Pet Feud is sort of like, this is not a bad episode. I just don't like it. I like every single episode in this season, just looking at the name. And then there's one that it's like,
I know exactly which one
I
you're
say
talking about.
like, but I'm really just like, yeah, I'm indifferent to it. It's fine. But
Maybe the most forgettable
Yeah,
episode of the
we'll get
show,
there when we
but
get there. yes, honestly,
or at least of
yes.
this
But-
you know, this half of the
Of
run.
this
Yeah.
season, yeah, but it's not bad. But there's some real good ones in this season. Like I'm looking at like, gosh, let me count. Like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's like 7 or 8 episodes in this season alone that I'm like, I adore. All
And, you know,
of these. So I'm really
And testament
excited.
to like Craig and the crew for like pretty much, yeah, the show, as we were talking about, the peak of its popularity, but like there was still the quality of the show got even better, and you know, when it could have got worse
Yeah, it could have, and it did eventually.
eventually, but you know, it's like they pretty much just ignored the popularity of Powerpuff Girls and still did a good show, which I appreciate.
Yeah. But I definitely think that this season is probably going to be the peak for me.
The peak. That's not to scoff at season 4 at all, but
No, I love
Yeah,
season
I love
4
season
too.
4,
Trust
but,
me, I
like,
do
you
love
know,
season 4.
I don't even think we need to like go into like why season 4 is below this, but
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to that when we get to season 4. You know, and there's a lot of
I love
interesting
season
stuff
4.
to talk about
yeah,
with
there's
season
a-
4
there's a
too.
lot of
Don't
great
get me wrong.
episodes.
I can't wait. I think out of every season to discuss, I think season 4 is going to be the most fun to talk about just because of how
Yeah,
different
and
it
most
is.
interesting.
But yeah, we'll get there when we get there, of course. So yeah, I mean, I guess with that out of the way, that kind of sets the precedent for where we're, you know, kind of how we feel on season 3. So we'll go ahead and shift gears into the first episode pairing that'll be the focus of this episode in particular. That being, of course, the pairing Fallen Arches and The Main Event. Both of which brilliant titles.
Yes, yeah.
And I really think that, like, you know, I love season 1's titles, and season 2 has some good ones in there, but I feel like there's some kind of bland titles in season 2. I'm looking at season 3 again, man. All of these are like, they're either they roll off the tongue really well, or they're catchy, or they're a pretty good pun, or there's a double meaning or triple meaning, or oh man.
I'm sorry. Can you just make this
Yeah,
tangent? I just have to. I have to bring this up. I'm sorry.
What?
We can't be too
What's
picky
up?
about the Powerpuff Girls titles, because like this show might have the most creative titles of any animated series or like any shows.
I would argue that,
because we just looked at last week. We looked at Rick and Morty's titles.
Yeah. Oh, those are bad.
They are so
Those
bad.
are real bad.
Like they're just
Yeah.
film references, but they just put the characters' names in it.
Yeah, they're not clever or good. Something. Yeah. Some of these are just, I don't know. Some of them are good. Like, some of them work. Like, I like Rick Steeminutes. I like, you know.
Yeah, one is this like Never Ricking Morty,
Total Rick
Rattlestar
Like, there's
Rick
some good ones. Yeah, some of them are extremely forced, and it's just like,
Here we go.
these don't work.
Rick Mirai
But-
Jack, a Morty can graffiti, just like
Yeah.
horrible comedy writing.
Yes.
So Powerpuff is generally pretty good.
Yes. No, and I've always felt that way. I can't think of another show that has titles better than
Yeah,
this
like
one.
not even SpongeBob
Like
or
the creative
Simpsons, like,
writing.
their titles are pretty generic a lot of the time.
No. Not even SpongeBob comes close to what
Yeah.
this level of titling is. And it's like, you know, a lot of other shows like have more generic titles, and maybe they'll do a pun here or there, but like every single episode except for Kathmandu has like a good meaning or thought behind it. Even some of the blander season 2 titles, like, you know, some of them are pretty straightforward, like Birthday Bash. Like, okay, I mean, get it, because it's like they're fighting and it's the birthday, so it's like a bash, you know, but like, okay, like that one's kind of plain. But then you get other ones and it's like A Very Special Blossom has a couple meanings to it. You know, Daylight Savings, as much as I don't like the episode, there's like 3 ways to actually make that phrase make sense within the context of the episode, you know? So it's like great. Honestly, it really is. But yeah. So anyway, let's go ahead and move into the first episode of the season, which is Fallen Arches. This episode is pretty great right off the bat, as far as namings are concerned, because this episode is about super old, washed up, retired heroes and villains coming back to fight each other. And it's an episode, to be sure. So basically, there's this trio of villains called the Ministry of Pain. And they come back. They used to ruin or rule Townsville with their evil and tyranny or whatever way back in the day. Went into retirement, came out of retirement, and the Powerpuff Girls are like, we can't fight them. We have to respect our elders. And so they go to recruit the actual heroes that used to fight the Ministry of Pain, that being Captain Righteous and his sidekick Lefty, like left and right. Haha. And they fight the Ministry of Pain. Unfortunately, when they come together to try and recruit these heroes, they don't really want to work together. Well, Captain Righteous doesn't anyways. And it doesn't really go well. And the plan pretty much backfires in a really severe way at the end. So yeah, right off the bat, I really enjoy this episode, and I don't understand why this episode gets hate. I think it's
funny too. Yeah.
Like, the only thing I think is a valid complaint is, like, if you don't like the gross out humor of Captain Righteous stuffing his nipples into his suit, like, I get that. If you don't like that, like, I don't really like that. It's kind of unnecessary. But other than that one criticism, I think this episode's hysterical.
Yeah, this is just really funny to me. Like that's my only opinion on this. Like, it's a funny episode. It's a David Smith classic. And
yeah, I mean, I think the premise is great. I think, like, unlike Daylight Savings, because this is like the obvious comparison to make, is like, well, Shadow, you hate Daylight Savings so much, but you don't hate this one. And it's like, but the hindrance is like a stupid reason. I'm like, okay, like, here's the thing. The main, like, conflict of the episode is basically Bubbles and Buttercup are like, they know Blossom's wrong. Like, Blossom's preaching this whole, we have to respect our elders, we can't just fight them. And Bubbles and Buttercup are like, yes, we can. And so the whole episode, Blossom is basically resisting them, trying to do this whole coordinated effort of getting Captain Righteous and Lefty to come together and fight the Ministry of Pain for them. And it ultimately doesn't work out in the end, which kind of proves that Bubbles and Buttercup were right. They should have just beat up the Ministry of Pain while they could, which would have just solved the problem, stopped the evil. They would have saved the day. Because, like, regardless of how old they are committing a crime. And, like, there's no reason why the girls can't stop them. But the thing is this episode's actually funny.
Yeah, that's true.
Which, like, you can make the argument that's subjective.
There's a logic flaw in it if you're looking for it.
Here's the other thing. I don't think Blossom's unlikable. Like, I think Blossom actually has a reason to act the way that she is acting. And also the Ministry of Pain isn't, like, killing people the way that the city of Townsville was literally on fire when Miss Keene was preventing the girls from saving lives. So if you also consider that perspective, like, yes, the Ministry of Pain is robbing a bank or whatever. Okay. They're not hurting people to the extent that, like, all of the horrible things that Miss Keene was preventing. So I think that's, like, a big contributor too. Also, Miss Keene is just flat out unlikable with her attitude. And here's the number one thing. So I was saving this kind of key point for last, right? It's like, with daylight savings, Miss Keene is never actually proven wrong. She never gets any sort of repercussion or comeuppance for being wrong. And the episode doesn't actually resolve anything at the end. And it's just left open with, like, okay, now the girls have to go to bed an hour later and the problem isn't fixed. With Fallen Arches, Blossom is proven wrong. The episode makes that blatantly known, and you're meant to not agree with her, as Bubbles and Buttercup clearly show with their reaction to it, especially with the ending and everything. Not only that, but the villains are defeated. Even if they go into, like, basically, like, severe trauma and injury, and, like, they basically are rushed to the ICU. It's, like, horrible. But the problem is solved, and the day is saved, even if it was the wrong way to do it. And she put the lives of 5 people on the line for it. So I think that's, like, really the main contributing difference between why I don't have an issue with Fallen Arches the way I do with Daylight Saving is because of that sort of final conclusion and resolution where we do have closure. We do have an idea that's communicated, a completed idea. Blossom has a reasonable argument, even if it's not one I can agree with. And she is proven to be incorrect. All of that basically to say this episode do me a funny haha.
Yeah, I like it. It's defendable. Yeah, and you addressed the Blossom, like, the technical like logic problem with Blossom, but I enjoyed this one regardless.
Yeah. And I mean that's part of the joke, right? Is, like, this is something that the girl should be able to defeat in 5 minutes. This shouldn't even be an episode. You know, as far as, like, they should be able to beat the Ministry of Pain easily without even trying because they're elderly and they can't fight back. And that's, like, where the whole comedy comes from. But unlike Daylight Savings, it just works better.
Right, yeah.
So, I don't know. That was my long-winded spiel on why I'll defend this episode over another one I don't like, despite them being similar.
Well, I was interested to hear that, yeah.
Or
because actually, I didn't really know what you were going to think about this episode coming in.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people make it out to be.
I don't think it's bad really at all. Like, I think it's funny. I'm sorry. It's just a funny. I mean, like, you know, it's not like it's the most like you know, important episode out there. It's just it's a funny one. I mean, it's interesting to start the season off with this, but I don't think, like, to be honest, at this point, like, the split between seasons for episodic cartoons didn't really mean as much at this point.
No, and I mean, at this time, I mean, what Cartoon Network show was making intentional season openers? You know, like, that wasn't the thing to do back then. They didn't open every season of Dexter or Courage with, like, this big, like, this big event thing.
I mean, I guess when Dexter came back, that was because he didn't do a new episode in, like, 4 years.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that was a return. Like, you know, that was a continuation after a hiatus.
Yeah, like, you know, this wasn't advertised as the season. Well, maybe it was. Maybe I'm crazy and it was, but if somebody can prove me wrong, that's cool. But, like, I believe it was probably just promoted as a new episode of the Powerpuff Girls on Cartoon Fridays.
Yeah, because, like, with season 3, came out a month after season 2 ended. Like, the release was pretty close together. Mm-hmm. It's just that season 3's release was stretched a lot further than season
Right.
2
Yeah.
was.
So like seasons
think.
kind of.
Let me actually check
I guess
that.
over.
No, actually, their run length was overall. Season 2's was actually stretched over the course of an entire year, whereas season 3 wasn't even a full year.
Well, sure.
Season
Some
3
got
ran
aired
from
later,
July
right?
to. Well, so the weird thing with season 3 is season 3 aired from, or premiered, I'll say, from July of 2000 to February of 2001, and then Helter Skelter and Power Lunch were released. Wait, is this right?
Okay, well, you know what? We might have to pick this up when we get there.
Yeah, let's actually say that, because I never actually remember what the correct release date of those.
Yeah,
of
Power
the
Lunch and
release
Helter
order.
Skelter.
We'll talk about it when we
I
get
believe
to it.
that. Yeah,
That's a
let's
weird
talk about that
one.
later.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But not counting that, it ran from from July to February, whereas season 2 ran from June to June.
Yeah, but
And you know what? Now that I think about it, I mean, maybe that's part of it too, RJ, is like, because season 3 bleeds really close into season 2, some people might just perceive it as one big season, or at least that's how it was perceived back then.
sure.
The same way, like, because like with Dexter's season 2 is really like the length of 3 seasons. It's just
that is
season
3
2.
seasons. It just got lumped together later.
It's just all considered. Yeah, it's just all considered season 2. That's what I mean.
Which is very strange, but like, oh God.
Yeah, I don't know. Cartoon stuff was weird.
I mean, I hope that's not to avoid
Cartoon
paying
stuff was
people,
weird.
but
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
Right.
But I don't want to be telling tales at it. I don't even think I used that right.
Yeah. This was 30 years ago, so at this
It
point.
was. But anyways, yeah, funny episode. There's a lot of interesting voices by Jeff Bennett in this.
Indeed.
Gosh, I love all the voices. And I love like the frail little old man voice they have for Lefty.
Yeah. Yeah. Lefty's he's something.
Like
I love the clash in personalities.
yeah, they're
between
so
the two
different,
of them.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like how they use the motif
Yeah,
of
like they go to meet Captain Righteous and
of like what is it, like popcorn popping? Like he
Yep.
loves that like there, and the kettle boils when kettle boils in Captain Righteous's house.
yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's pretty great. I mean, I love Captain Righteous's whole turn. Like, as soon as they mention his sidekick, he gets all like grumpy
Right.
about
And
it.
I really like
Lefty's like, "Oh, I miss those days," and it's just like a total clash. It's great.
so it's like, so I would say, would you say like that's more of a reference to Captain America and Bucky, or would you say it's more Adam West's Batman and Robin? Maybe both.
That's a good. I feel like it could be both.
Yeah, but like
That's a
then
good
again, he
point.
does have like his outfit is similar to Captain America.
Yeah, I always assumed that was kind of the inspiration, or maybe it was just.
It could be
generic.
both. And here's another nitpick. Like this is actually like Puff Pop did say that it's like they're references to Joe Barbera and Bill Hanna, which sounds like hot air, but I don't know. I think Lefty does look like Joe Barbera a little bit. They really do. And they had an interesting relationship because like William Hanna and Joe Barbera like apparently weren't really friends. They were really just business partners. And their offices were separate at Hanna-Barbera always. So they weren't even chums. I believe Joe Barbera wasn't even invited to Bill Hanna's funeral service. Which is like, it's not really a scandal. I think people who grew up with him are just a little surprised to hear that. They didn't have to be chums.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like when you see a name like that, like you just kind of assume.
Oh, those guys must be best
people
friends.
just
Yeah, it's like
inherently
no.
Assume. Yeah, right. Like, oh, these two people formed this partnership. Like when you imagine a partnership, you imagine people cooperating and that sort of thing. It's like, not
I mean, it's a
necessarily.
partnership. It just it was a professional partnership.
That's yeah, exactly. But just because you're professionally, working together doesn't mean you have to like each other, and that is actually a very true thing. In a lot of the real world, like a lot of different places, industries, and all
it
sorts
just
of
means
stuff.
they weren't on the ceiling of like Hanna-Barbera watching the sunset every day and talking about Scooby-Doo together.
It's like how people get shocked when they're like, what, Craig and Gendy hadn't spoken to each other in like 20 years? Like, what?
Well, I mean, they were friends,
Or
but like
whatever,
they,
people got-
you have different friends throughout your
No,
life.
but how people get, Yeah, and it's like people can go different directions and work on different things. I mean, Gendy ended up going one way and Craig went to another studio, you know,
You know
Sony
what?
versus Disney or whatever. They worked on
I'm
separate
glad you
stuff
brought
and they
that
never
up.
really interacted on those projects. And people would just be like, "What, you mean to tell me those guys don't like hang out in all their free time like every weekend like
Yeah, they both
the
have
bros?"
families
Like,
and stuff to work
what do you
on.
expect? Yeah, like what are you expecting from like what? I don't know. I never
I never
understood
understood,
that,
and you know,
but
like they just did a panel together, by the way, which I brought
they
up,
did, yeah,
which
earlier
is
this
that's
year.
nice,
Yep.
but like and they were close in CalArts in those days, but like I always actually thought that was a condescending question to ask Craig or Gendy, like, will you guys work together or something? It's like I
Yeah.
don't know, something about that question I just don't like. I mean, I'm not saying there's any ill will on anybody who says that. I'm not like bashing anybody, but like something like as if like their projects are missing something without the other, because they don't really.
Yeah.
There's not really a need for it, because what was good about their partnership in the
It's
90s,
the
in
insinuation.
the 90s, they were less experienced, right? So like you could say like, yeah, Craig McCracken was more good at art direction. He might have had more interesting ideas, and Gendy was really good at timing and animation. Probably knew some more things about filmmaking than Craig did. And they helped each other out. And that also includes, people don't include Paul Rudish and Robert Zendi are probably equally as important to that process. But at this point in their careers, it's not like they really need each other to help on their weaknesses. So that's it's kind of an odd thing to ask them, I think, a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. I never really liked the whole, like, just that expectation that people had or would put on them.
Like they have to be two best friends and always hang out, like,
Personally.
and also you're also ignoring too is like, at this point, I don't think they're gonna sit around and work on another guy's show at this point. Like I don't think like they're like, Gendy's not gonna sit around and work on one of Craig's shows, or like vice versa. As you like, as they go into their career, I don't think they want to do that. I think even Lauren, she was on an episode of Creative Block, which is a really good interview with her. Lauren gives some really good interviews. But she said when she was working on Wander Over Yonder, like she was saying like working for Craig, because they did it on Foster's and Powerpuff, but like at that point in her career, since she already did My Little Pony, right? She was working on Wander Over Yonder, and it's like she's like, something about this isn't as fun anymore, and because I think she was ready to work on her own stuff, like so I don't think she's gonna really go back and work on Craig's shows either. So like I think both Craig and Gendy are at that point where I don't think they're just going to work on each other's projects anymore. It was a good collaboration. It was a very good, it was a very fruitful collaboration in the 90s, but like, why do they need to do it again?
They have enough experience and enough ideas and creativity under their belt that they can lead their own projects, and they don't need to lean on the other for help. Like they can handle this stuff on their own, as they've both proven with some of their later projects.
And like they also have different sensibilities too. I mean, they sink in many ways.
Very different directions in how they create and handle shows.
They sink in many ways, but like, they put out they have different interests. So, I think it's an innocent question, but like
Gendy leans way more towards like adult things, whereas like Craig has a more like general, like family friendly vibe to him with the stuff that they work on. Gendy's focused more on more mature stuff, whether it be, that Fixed movie that came out that made a lot of people upset, but was very crude and adult humor oriented, or something super graphic but stylistic like Primal or Samurai Jack or whatever. Like Gendy's always working on that sort of like stylistic stuff or very more mature stuff, and Craig has always kind of stayed in that family friendly realm of like, he made Wander, which was a very very friendly oriented cartoon. There's Kid Cosmic, and then obviously he's working on this preschool show now. So they've definitely gone in completely different directions as far as like demographics and audiences and things like that, and the kind of tone and atmosphere that their shows are going to have.
Difference, but of course, we can't deny like how great their partnership was, because like Dexter's Lab, a lot of that Craig's writing helped shape those characters a lot. The designs are basically his, especially by the end of like season 2. Like basically Dexter and Dee Dee, like the designs you prefer of them in season 2 are basically Craig McCracken's, and Powerpuff, like a lot of the action sensibility is Craig's. So like I think that's when those shows come back for more episodes sometimes, and maybe one like maybe just Craig or maybe just Gendy was there, you could actually kind of see the loss of the other guy. So like, there's important parts of their partnership, but I don't think for new projects, I don't see a need for that. I didn't even, like this this is a really long episode for recording, but like you brought that up and I just couldn't not say something about that.
No, but I think it's definitely like, it's not like a random tangent. Like it completely ties into this idea of like, these two characters in this episode used to work together in a really like tight knit partnership, and eventually they went their own ways. Now, granted, I would hope that Craig and Gendy don't hate each other as much as like Captain Righteous and Lefty sort of grew apart, obviously. But like, it kind of just shows that like eventually people will go their own ways, and it's like, it's true for like the majority of people in everybody's life. Like we aren't all going to interact with the same people for the entirety of our lifetime. Like, yeah, there will be some people that probably stick around, whether that's, the best friend you've always had, or a family member, or a partner, or something like that. But outside of those few individuals, you are going to have people that, will drift apart one day. I mean, RJ, you and I literally didn't even meet each other until we were both like, until I was in college. Exactly. Like I didn't have you anywhere near my life for the first like 20 years of me being alive. So like that right there already excludes you from that rule. Sorry.
No, that's
even
true.
If I do talk to you for the rest of my life. But it's also possible, at some point down the line, we just
don't talk to me about Shadow Street.
Yeah, it's like we finished the podcast and it's like, all right, never talking to you again. Bye, see ya.
We're not wishing for that. Yeah.
But like eventually life may catch up with us where it's like, I have my responsibilities, you have yours or whatever. And it's like, it just, no hard feelings, but it's like, I'll always appreciate time spent, with you and other people in my life. But it's like, eventually things will change, and whether that's for the better or not, I mean, ideally I never want to have a falling out with somebody the way that the characters in this episode clearly had, although the way they kind of put their differences aside is pretty amusing.
Well, yeah, we'll have it falling out if it's funny, I guess. That's basically the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of just amusing jokes and really cool parallelism, especially like you said with like the popcorn and the kettle, for example. And again, it's just silly fun. I mean,
it is silly fun.
I definitely enjoy.
And also on
that, and
I'm sorry, on Joe Barbera and Will Hanna, I believe Pokey Folks, which also funny because it's a play on the kindergarten that they go to.
Yep.
But I believe that's the building.
Yep.
I guess it's technically not Hanna-Barbera, but I believe that's the Warner Brothers office that they were using at this time, because I believe they weren't actually at Hanna-Barbera at this point after season 1. Or maybe actually,
okay.
The story, like a lot of people were tracking this story, and the thing is, I think a lot of that information was on Craig's Twitter, which is gone now, but actually, I think that might have even been true that like I think after Insect Inside, the show wasn't produced at Hanna-Barbera anymore. So yeah, I think like the funny thing, a lot of Golden Age Powerpuff Girls was probably produced at like some office that Warner Brothers gave them. I'm not even sure if it was in the regular Warner Brothers animation building, but that's where they were doing. And actually, like a lot of the people said they didn't really care to be there. That's just what they had at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're really happy to get Cartoon Network Studios open. But yeah. That's what that's supposed to be.
That's actually interesting. I did not even know that, so I actually learned something new today.
Yeah, a lot of people are very interested on tracking that issue, and it is kind of interesting. But I believe this is what is this? I think it's like the Imperial Bank on someplace in California, likely Burbank. But a lot of this information was on Craig's Twitter. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting backgrounds in this episode too.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely like seeing like the different like I like the retirement home setting.
Yes.
Like just the room. I don't know what it is about this show. It has like, and it's probably just nostalgia, but it's like when I see like that, or like the one that always gets me is like in season 1 when we see him's like apartment because he lives in an apartment or something. There's something about just the rooms in this show like that just give me this very nostalgic vibe of like,
well,
I don't know, I can't explain.
You know what? It's like I don't even think it's just nostalgia. Well, it's nostalgia, but like not even necessarily for your childhood. I think that type of Golden Book style just radiates coziness and nostalgia. which is odd for a superhero
Yeah,
show. But like,
definitely.
if you look up like 60s golden books, I think that they just immediately radiate that style, or a lot of the works of Mary Blair, which I'm sure is a big influence
Hmm.
on the show. But yeah, I think they just radiate that.
Hmm.
I have to bring up my.
I gotta
You got
say.
to say what?
Oh, go ahead. No, you keep going.
I
You
have to
keep going.
like just get this out the way. My favorite gag is probably everybody's favorite. Where like Lefty's hip breaks, and then like the Captain Right just says no and has to take a break.
No, and then he's like running super slow over
Right.
there. And then he stops and catches his breath. No.
But just like
Yeah.
people didn't find that fun. I mean, like you can't tell people what to laugh at. Honestly, you just can't tell people what to find funny.
Yeah, I thought it was
I think a lot of
hilarious,
people found that funny.
but
I definitely did.
I did. But yeah, I definitely got to say one thing I really like about the episode is like just the jarring contrast in character designs between like, the classic like comic book style of like the Ministry of Pain and like
Oh, and the
Captain
film
Righteous
reel.
and Lefty like in their
Yeah,
prime. Yeah, in like the black and white where like they're clearly in their prime and they're more detailed in the way and the angular in the way they're drawn. And then like we see them now as elderly characters and they're like so much just more disproportionate and rounded and cartoony and I don't know, I just love that juxtaposition. But it's like a cool callback because it's like this is what action cartoons looked like that many years ago, with the way they were drawn and stylized, or comic books especially, which is obviously where
yeah, and this is what
the inspiration's taken from.
you get a lot
so.
of this like playing with like different styles in season 3.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like that. That's a really good like season
Yeah.
3 has a lot of cool experimental stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a lot of interesting visually. It's just like they're just flexing their muscles, like, or whatever they're doing in the season.
Yeah, and even though I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of like the close-up stuff that they do with like the elderly body,
I
shots,
honestly I have to say I'm a defender of that.
I'm not a fan, but
I will play devil's advocate for
I'm
that.
not a fan. I've never been a fan of that. I've never found it funny.
Okay, but conceptually,
anything.
you can't tell me this. It's not funny
I
that they
know.
put this like 2000 like very popular, but like especially known to the public as like this cartoon for little girls, and I just appreciate that that's just a shot in the show. I something about the juxtaposition of that. It's hard to stomach though. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that specific thing, and
It's
that's
very
just
shocking.
That's just personal preference, but yeah. I also love the suit up sequence and just how drawn out it is.
Yeah, and it's very slow. They get a lot of good humor in it. Which
like,
Cartoon Network Productions
some people
like,
again
got a little carried away with that type of humor at a certain point, but
yeah, for sure. And it's like I get it if some people don't find that funny, but I don't know.
I think it works here because they're doing it for a reason.
Yeah, like it makes sense.
It's just like like honestly, I think that the entire channel was just guilty of this at a certain point. Like not even a particular show, just like the entire studio channel. Like early 2000s Cartoon Network, like as good as it was, they did get really into this gag of just like let's just loop the same gag for a long time or like drag things out, and like that would just be like a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it worked, other times it didn't.
Yeah.
That was just like Cartoon Network humor for what.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most notorious one was like there was this episode of like it was one of the various dad cartoons in like that revival season of Dexter. Do you remember which one I'm talking about? He was just like he was positioning his golf club for like 3 minutes.
Yes, I do remember that.
In the ring, which is like I don't even know whether that's brilliant.
Was there a bumper for that, or am I mistaken?
I'm sorry?
Was there a bumper for that one, or am I mistaken?
No, it was just an episode.
Right, I'm just trying to remember if they made a bumper out of it.
They might have.
Because that's what they used to do.
It should have just been a bumper.
That's what they used to do in the late 90s is they would have taken clips from the episode and they made a bumper out of it. Dude, I swear I'm not crazy, okay? I think I brought this up when we talked about oh, sorry, my cat is purring and rubbing up against me. My apologies. Sorry. I swear, maybe I brought this up when we talked about Fuzzy Logic like 2 years ago. I am adamant. I am certain that Cartoon Network made a looping bumper of Fuzzy on that rocking chair. I'm convinced that they just played a loop of Fuzzy on that rocking chair for like 30 seconds straight, and then they flashed up the classic checkerboard Cartoon Network logo and blurred the
I think you're right.
background.
I don't know about the
I
bad cartoon.
swear that's a bumper. No, I know. But what I'm getting at is like, I swear that exists. I swear I'm not Mandela affecting that. I'm convinced that was a thing, but I've looked everywhere for bumpers of Powerpuff Online and I've never found it. I've never seen it in any bumper or commercial compilation or anything, but I swear it was a thing that they did. I swear on it. And maybe, I feel like there's a Dexter 1 or 2 that's like, maybe not the golf club thing, but I could have sworn there was a bumper or two with Dexter's dad doing something.
Somebody find those.
But
do some work, guys. Come on. You can't just
please,
listen to this podcast.
All
do some
six
work.
of you, all 6 of you that have actually listened through to this part of the podcast, please, for the life of me, find that bumper. I'm convinced it's real. I'm convinced.
You know how you're already doing charity work by listening to our podcast? Do some work now. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
How about that?
Yeah, do some real work.
Get up and do some work.
Oh boy. Man, I can already tell season 3 is going good because we're already so far into this episode.
Look how caffeine filled. Look how caffeine fueled. I have more to say about this episode too. We're so caffeine fueled right now.
I know. It's
the
awesome.
Caffeine is the pure nectar of the 3rd season of Powerpuff Girls.
The caffeine cavadini.
Caffeine cafedini. How about that?
You've
heard it here first.
See, I can make puns too. Yeah. Do you have anything else to say about Fallen Arches though, at all? Or
I have a few things. I mean, I like the whole mayor.
one.
The mayor just does not believe in them for whatever reason. And I have to say, this is like I don't know why this stands out to me so much, but this show puts so much effort into all of its designs. So like not just the character designs or the background designs, but also the prop designs. Like one, obviously the hotline in every episode. Or Octi, like, you know, those are great those are great designs too, like, you know, and they didn't even have to do that. But like, I always loved the design of like the Townsville Tribune and all that stuff, and how that has its own logo, like how they designed that, like they did not have to put like, you know, effort into that stuff, but they did. But regardless, they have like Powerpuffs, Carapuffs, and like on top of that is why didn't the chicken puffs cross the road? So it's like layered jokes on top of each other, which I love. Mm-hmm. Like the town is really getting it to the girls. So it's another ungrateful Townsville episode.
Oh, go figure. But no, the show's, I mean, the first several seasons, the show's always put that level of detail and attention into it. I mean, I never highlighted like how I appreciate the newspaper thing. Problem.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, shout outs to that damn octopus problem.
Damn octopus problem.
Yeah, the damn octopus problem. Remember the damn octopus
problem? Yeah, that damn octopus problem. They solved it.
Yeah, the damn octopus problem where they solved it because the octopus was on the dam.
On the dam, if you guys understand it. Yeah, I do love like them. There's a line reading from the mayor here where he's like, laser beam people, pew, 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 which I don't know why. That's like, I remember that. I think about that a lot.
And them zappy eyes? Zappy eyes. Oh, different episode. Yeah. Call back.
And... unfortunately, Mary is in this episode, unfortunately.
You mean fortunately, thank God.
I don't think we'll ever see her. Well, no, we'll see her again, but she doesn't talk.
No, we do. We see her in season 4.
She doesn't talk, I believe. Yeah, but I have to say, Captain Righteous's like crappiness is just really funny in this. Like, he's like, what did he say? Like, so you're writing a book about my fantastic life?
Well, yeah, he's so egotistical. I mean, his mug says I'm number one on it. Like, but then you see he's clearly a slob. He clearly doesn't take care of himself. He let himself go. He's so full of himself. Meanwhile, Lefty's over there and it's like super neat.
He's glad children are like visiting him, and he sings a song, which that's another thing I like. I love the song.
It's so uncomfortable, but that's why it's funny.
It's just like it's so relatable to just like you visiting an old person. You just have to be polite. It's like they're nice. This is awkward, but like they're nice. So.
Yeah, I guess we have to listen to them and just appreciate it.
And like there's also a weird line where he says like you can freely purchase your Frank Sinatra flying discs, which is such a strange line, but I love it. Did I make that up? Does he say that?
I need to go back and listen to it to remember.
I believe, but yeah, there's some. I
don't remember.
One of my favorite lines is like a joke that nobody brings up. He says, "You're not pulling my prosthetic leg, are you?" That's just that's classic. That is so funny to me. It's just a transition. And it's also just crazy. It's like Jeff Bennett is really doing all these. He does some amazing voice work in season 3. And there's another episode too, which I was like, I can't believe he's actually doing all of these.
Maybe I'm mistaken. So I'm watching that part. So I forgot Captain Righteous writes to the pumpkin.
Your friend's Captain Righteous. And then Buttercup just like backs out on it.
Yeah. We're not here for your stupid forgotten autograph. I swear I think I saw, maybe I'm misremembering, but I think I saw a YouTube poop where someone censored forgotten, and so it just sounded like your stupid bleep and
that
autograph.
Works so well, though.
I could have sworn or something like that. It does.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I think he does say the Frank Sinatra thing.
Hang on, I'm listening for it, but I don't know. I haven't heard it yet. I don't know. I just think the comedic timing is
it's so perfect. So yeah, like Dave Smith, like coupled.
Yes,
with
he does say it. He does say the Frank Sinatra.
He does, yeah. I don't know why, but I find it humorous. Like Stanley Whitfield. I almost forgot his name, even though he's one of the most important characters of all time.
Stanley Whitfield.
I cried in a few episodes that he wasn't in the episode. They used some other woman instead of Stanley Whitfield.
Do you think... So I've always wondered this. Do you know why this is the only episode other than that documentary episode that the narrator doesn't do the intro and outro in, even though Tom Kenny's in the episode as the mayor? Because, like, I would have understood if, like, Tom Kenny couldn't record that day or something, so they had to change it. But, like, why doesn't the narrator do the narration? It's the only episode other than the documentary. And then I guess See Me... Well, no, he shows up at the end.
I mean, there's no reason to have him in unless you want to, like, add time to the episode. It is weird that he's not in it at all. You're right.
Yeah, but he could just say this... It's literally the only episode except the documentary.
I never thought
documentary
about that.
kind of makes sense because of the way that episode's presented. Like, that one, like, okay, fair enough. But, like, I was about to say he doesn't do it for See Me, Feel Me, Know Me, but he does.
You know, the funny thing is,
that
never stood out to me at all that he wasn't in this.
Yeah, it's Stanley Whitfield. Really? Remember how Stanley Whitfield stole his thunder and then he's
like, so this is revenge. That's what it is.
Stanley Whitfield came back and was like, nope, you don't even get to be in this
like
episode,
they could actually see me. Yeah, his transition is like...
Yeah, like, I don't know. I've always wondered why this decision was made, because I'm that type of person where it's like the small inconsistency of this one thing is like, why? Like, you were right 99% of the time, and you missed the one. Why? Because it's like, I'd understand if the mayor wasn't in the episode and like Tom Kenny just wasn't available or something for this one episode for whatever reason.
Wow, yeah, that's
Why?
strange. Like, he's not even in the middle of it. Yeah, I would have never said anything about that. The narrator is
nowhere in this episode. It's the only one.
They just excluded Tom Kenny from this outing.
Yeah, it bothers me because it's the only one that does this. And then again, aside from documentary, the way that episode, it's fine because of what that episode is. So I don't know.
But I wanted to...
It's just such an odd choice to me to not do it for the one.
It's an odd choice, but I really do wonder why. I wonder what Stanley Whitfield wanted to say about buying soap. That's important to me. It is.
Is it?
And yeah, like on the confrontation with like Captain Righteous and his old villains, I do love the joke. Is like, oh no, it's just a flying has-been. And like, he says, I said not so fast. They're like, keep running, boys.
Keep running.
Just such fun comedy.
Yeah.
It's even funny, like
the comedic time.
They also do the fun thing where like villains are just like polite to each other for no reason. Like they come out of the bank and somebody's holding the door and he's just like, thank you.
Well, it's just that trope of like elderly.
Yeah, just elderly people just being nice to each other.
That's just the thing, right? It's like I feel like people when they get to that age, not all, but most of them tend to kind of just lighten and loosen up a little,
Yes.
They're right. More polite.
And so yeah, like they fall and like, but none of them are in critical condition. So I was like, it's crude, but it's not like cruel, I would say.
Yeah.
It's not, and I'm sorry, it is just funny to see him fly and just like fall on the villains. I'm sorry, that's just funny. Like, oh my gosh. Like, yeah, it's like slightly tasteless, but that is funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Blossom getting shamed on the day is saved things. Like, I don't like, they're not really that mean to her. It's like,
no,
I mean, she gets she gets hated on by
Just
the
like,
town
you
a
were
little bit,
wrong,
but
and yeah, but she
yeah.
was wrong. So, it's like, you were wrong. You shouldn't have put up such a fuss, and you should have just listened to your sisters for
Right.
once.
And she's egotistical through this, right? She's like, my plans always work.
Yeah. Which, again, is why the downfall makes perfect sense, and why I think it's, like, additive to the episode.
Right, yeah. So I think I've tired out everything. This was like...
Just works.
This was a... This was a long 11-minute episode that we recorded, but like... Which is... It's odd that we spent so much time on this one out of all episodes, but...
I know,
Fallen
right?
Arches.
But there was a lot to... Again,
I like it. It's just funny that this one... Because like there are like probably better ones that we spent like 20 minutes on.
Well, and I think part of it too might be the fact that, like, unlike seasons 1 and 2, where I had recorded my video or written my video before talking about it, I'm talking about this before I've written my video script, because spoiler alert, we're recording this within a couple days of my video dropping.
Kind of like how they aired.
So I haven't even, like, I've started towards season 3 a little bit with, like, I'm watching through the episodes, but I haven't written any of them. So this is like a fresh discussion. I don't feel like I'm just repeating myself. So it feels like I have more to say. And honestly, I'm going to try and keep it this way for the rest of the seasons. I'm going to try and make sure we record this podcast first before I write my script, because I think that may be a big contributing factor. Because I noticed myself in season 2, and like I look at a lot of the season 2 episode run times, and it's like, these are shorter episodes, and I'm not saying as much as I did for like season 1. And I think that's...
You don't remember, like, you went to bed in one of the podcasts. Like, you just went to bed in the middle. So, like we were recording, like, Beach Agrees. Just like, oh, all right, RJ, all right. And I was like, oh, all right, this is awkward.
That's true.
You just left in the middle of one. Yeah, good night, guys.
I did do that.
Yeah.
I did. If you don't,
you should go back and watch the whole season just to make sure it's that episode. I'm not sure if it's that episode, so just watch all of them, okay?
Yeah. Well, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that one, because it's not that one. But now you've convinced people to...
It wasn't that one at all. You're right.
Realize, like, hey, wait a minute.
There's actually at least like 3 or 4 of them it could be. So yeah, go check that out for us if you haven't seen those episodes. If you haven't seen them, you know.
I also left a secret message in season 1's episodes, so you should go back and listen.
And you win money watching one of them, but you have to know what episode it is, and you have to listen to the whole thing, because like we only talk about it for like 30 seconds. So if you want to listen to, if you want to win money, if you want to listen to money, nice. If you want to listen to money, go watch those episodes. I know you want to listen to money.
There you go. Beautiful. All right. Well, that being said, would you like to move on to the second episode of this pair?
Yes, I would.
Okay. All right. So next up, the next part of season 3 we've got with this pairing is the main event. In this episode, the Powerpuff Girls, well, specifically Blossom and Buttercup, give their sister Blossom a very terrible haircut. At the beginning of the episode, it's established Blossom has this amazing hairstyle, and her sisters completely ruin it, to the point where the entire city makes fun of her. She then kind of disappears in shame and won't publicly show her face, or rather her hair. And her sisters have to go fight a giant eyeball monster to save the day on their own. And they can't seem to defeat this thing because it has eyes on all 360 degrees of its surface, I guess. Making it super hard to do any sort of surprise sneak attack. It can just eye laser anything because it can see everywhere. Then, of course, at the end, it turns out that it finds Blossom's haircut hysterical. And by inherently distracting the monster with laughter, they're able to home run it out of the city and save the day.
Right.
So the main event is obviously the word main being a parody of main, as in like the primary thing. Main in this context being a hair mane. Blossom is the main event of the episode. Haha, funny. I love the pun. I love the title.
Yeah. We're talking about releases. This was a DVD/VHS, I believe. Actually, I think I own the DVD. That's right. The only reason to get those now are because it has Craig does a commentary on the Whoop-Ass Girls film, which I've actually uploaded to YouTube, but don't tell anybody.
Ooh.
Yeah, have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, he just makes a few he criticizes some of his old art direction. He talks about the name change and just a few things. Nothing that we haven't really covered though. But it's a few minutes. You could check it out on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll be sure to actually watch that. If you could send me a link to it, that would actually be super convenient.
I will send that to you. But
Sweet.
before we even talk about this episode, am I crazy? Did you also think of the Kirby villain when seeing Eyeball Monster?
Yes.
I always thought that as a kid. I was like, wait, those are the same thing.
Yeah,
not the same thing, but like similar ideas. I'm not actually implying that anybody ripped off anybody. And the Kirby game, I think, came out years before this, but yeah,
yes,
it's just like my kid brain, just like it's like, hey, this is similar to this thing, and like Kirby and Powerpuff Girls are kind of the same idea, right?
They're similar, yeah. I mean, you got this cutesy little round thing, basically defeating.
They're both puffs.
Like,
they're both puffs, right?
Evil entities. Yeah, they are both puffs. Yeah. There you go. Which I love Kirby. Kirby's one of my favorite games.
Yeah, I like Kirby too.
So I could go on about Kirby all day, but
you could do a Kirby podcast probably too, right?
Kirby.
I don't like that show, but that's a different.
Honestly, neither do I. But honestly, I have considered making a video on every single Kirby game.
Whoa.
I've considered it. I might do it. I don't know. I love Kirby, dude. It's one of my favorites.
It's not unprecedented, but like why not? Kirby games are good.
I know. It's a lot of fun, and I'm super nostalgic for Kirby. I mean, I've played Kirby since I was like 6, and I have a
similar appreciation for Kirby. I mean, I haven't played it now. I probably haven't played it in a couple of years, but I did. I guess I did probably own until the DS era. I probably have played all of them.
What's your favorite one?
My favorite one. Well, I'm not as advanced with video games, but like. I don't really have a favorite per se. I do. There's something I really enjoy about. There's something relaxing I find about Kirby 64. I'm not at all saying that's the best game, and it's probably kind of insulting because I believe like that's the one Sakurai isn't involved with of the early games. So yeah, but like not at all the best one, but I find it relaxing to play that game for whatever reason.
Yeah, no, Kirby 64 is classic. I love 64. My all-time favorite is I would say my all-time favorite is going to be Nightmare in Dreamland, which is a remake of Adventure on the SNES or on the NES, excuse me. On the NES, excuse me. It's the GBA remake.
I played both,
which I love Nightmare in Dreamland. It was my first game, and it's classic, and I love it, and I can run that game. I should consider speedrunning that game because I love that game and I have it memorized. I have the entire level design of that entire game. I know where every enemy in every room is. Like, it's crazy.
When I was first getting into like emulation, that was like the game I would play all the time because it would run the easiest. And it just felt so relaxing to play on mobile for whatever reason.
Yeah, and it's a super short game. I can beat it in under 50 minutes. I mean, and that's without trying to speedrun. I don't know what like legit speedrun times are. Or at least I think my Meta Nightmare time is under 50 minutes. I think regular Kirby is probably longer because of like the final boss and extra stuff. But when you're playing Meta Nightmare mode is the best because like it's literally meant for you to speedrun it. Like, see how fast you can beat the game. And with Meta Knight, it's a lot of fun because he's faster on the ground. And
I emulated that one, but I do own Kirby's Adventure legally because I have the Dream Collection that they did for the Wii many years ago. Yeah,
I also have that for the Wii.
Which I got a lot of play out of that.
Yeah, good collection. Yeah, some of my others, my other favorites will include. I like Amazing Mirror. I'm in the Amazing Mirror crowd. I think Amazing Mirror is a really cool game. Super innovative, especially for the time, and extremely underappreciated because a lot of people consider that to be the black sheep of the entire franchise. But like flat out, I think Amazing Mirror is actually an incredibly fun multiplayer game. It's like so cool. And then I also really enjoy Return to Dreamland on the Wii / the Deluxe for the Switch. That's one of my favorites too. Forgotten Land was fun, and anyway, we need to stop talking about Kirby before we take over the conversation. We need to go back to the main event. That's what we're supposed to be talking about.
Which is great.
Here.
Yeah. Why do we have so much to talk about?
I mean, I don't. It's because I'm energetic. It's like I'm not talking about something I've already said and listened to myself say a bajillion times over, like with season 2. Like I don't feel like it's redundant or repeated. Like like with season 2, I went into all those episodes with like, I've already said this stuff. Like I'm repeating myself and I'm less motivated.
So in other words,
to
you
say
were clear, concise, and to the point, and reiterating is not your thing.
Yeah, I do not reiterate, repeat, reinstate the same thing over and over again. So no. Yeah, I think that's just what it is. I just have a more like energetic attitude because I'm talking about something fresh, something new, something I haven't really spoken about. And so it's like, hopefully this doesn't negatively impact my script writing. Knock on wood. I'm not trying to jinx myself right now, but I'm hopeful that it doesn't affect that by doing this.
So maybe the
we'll
podcast,
see. If anything, it should help me because I can collect
the quality
my
of the
thoughts,
podcast and the videos will go up then. Okay, that's a plus for all of us.
Yeah, honestly, that is a win-win if that's what happens. So we'll see what happens with season 3. But yeah. Anyway, again, another tangent. Gosh darn it. The main event. I just kind of want to get this off my chest. My favorite thing about this episode is the conversation that the professor has with Blossom when she's sitting in the room in the dark by herself. I think this is one of the best scenes of the professor, and it's great because it's like, it's so like, it's so supportive. It's like a dad supporting his kid, right? Like it's super emotional, and like everything he says to her like matters, and it's like meaningful and whatever. And he finds, a way to get through to her and give her hope and motivation or whatever, and basically helps her figure out the solution to the problem. But like, he's still a parent, and he can laugh at his kids.
It's not that. It's not that
after
mean. It's
gone.
just
And
funny.
I think there's no harm in it. Yeah. I think there's no harm in that. I think that's absolutely true. I mean, what parent isn't going to laugh at their kid being silly or doing something dumb or whatever? That's just natural, It's like, but he never does that in front of her or to her or at her or anything like that. And that's what's so respectable and admirable about it, is he's able to contain that to himself until after she's gone. And then he just sort of lets it out for the audience to kind of relate to and be like, yeah, okay, yeah. And, if parents are sitting there watching this episode with their kids, that's something that I imagine parents would immediately connect to and be like, yeah, I've been in this situation where it's like I had to help a kid through something. And then
even if it's funny, because like you just can't laugh in their faces about it, right? Because like the kids might do something stupid and like they might cry and like because they glued their hands together. You like, it's funny, but you just can't laugh in their faces about it.
Yeah,
like he's not really being a jerk.
And I just think there's something really human. No, it's really human. Like it just feels like it's a really sort of emotional moment, but it's like there's realism to it, and there's a way for different people, depending on like who you are, what demographic, age wise you fall into, that you can connect to something or not. Like as a kid, I didn't notice that. At all. And even though I'm not a parent, like I can see like there is probably a connection here, and maybe someday if I do have one, I would be able to even relate a real life experience.
Which is funny because I don't. Who knows? Most of the people that worked on this, I'm pretty sure, were not parents.
No, not at the time. No, I don't believe so. They were all
unless
mostly in their
Robert
20s.
Alvarez worked on this one, I would say no.
Maybe.
And I don't have proof that he had kids at this time either, but I believe I don't know. Yeah, no. Gendy, maybe? I don't think so, though.
I don't think so. But yeah, that's honestly, I just had to get that off my chest. That's my favorite part of the whole episode. Not that the rest of the episode
it's the funniest
great.
And like the sweetest part too, so.
Yes. Yeah.
And like, sure. I also just love like the laugh is just an amazing like that is just amazing acting from Tom Kane. Like, some of my favorite performances are his as the professor. And it's just like the whoa is hilarious too. So there's actually like 2 laughs in that scene. That whoa is outstanding.
Whoa!
It's funny because like I think the scene goes toe to toe with this other scene in the Proud Family. Have you ever seen like that meme where like the girl has like really huge feet? It's a very similar very similar scene. I believe like I think somebody did do like a comparison between those two. But yeah, very interesting. I do love that scene. I have to say like the
I love.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, after you, my brother.
There you go. Okay. Thank you, brother. Brother. Anyway. No, what I wanted to say is that I think that this episode has some really great lines, and like they really go in on the puns again in this one. I think there's some pretty like clever stuff. I love like when Blossom goes up to the monster or whatever, and she's just like reciting all these really like lame, like crappy jokes.
That's cute, yeah.
But like the monster's clearly just laughing at her haircut, but like she's going all into it. Like I don't even remember how they all go, but like toupee or not toupee or whatever. It's like, this is stupid, but like I just appreciate it. Like it's corny.
Yeah,
You
I think
know,
she's a little
my
kid
favorite.
though.
I think my favorite line though. I think my favorite line though is when Stanley Whitfield goes like, "Did you get in a fight with a pair
Oh
of
yeah,
scissors
boy,
or
does she look stupid?
lose?"
Just
Like,
mean.
that's brutal.
She's just
Yeah,
it's so nasty.
like wow. Yeah,
So
it's
what's the
like
matter,
dang.
Blossom?
First he steals the narrator's thunder, and now
Right.
this. Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah, the
good
mood of the whole
delivery.
scene is good. That's just like that's such a great scene.
Yep, it really is.
And it's just funny. It's like it's just such
It
a good
really
concept
is.
because like that is something that just happens with sisters. I think I
Mhm.
wonder it probably does enhance this episode a little bit that like that Lynn Naylor boarded it and not one of the guys. I'm not sure if Lynn Naylor has siblings or not, and I guess we'll probably never figure that out because Lynn Naylor doesn't really have any social media presence. But
Mm,
yeah, very talented person, of course, and very important to the history of animation. Honestly, a little bit
mhm,
of an underrated figure,
definitely.
but yeah. And I guess at this point she was married to Chris Riccardi because if you notice her name is Naylor Riccardi on some of these. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, people were getting married. I guess that's yeah. So
I
third
always
season
loved.
was people were getting married on this season, which I guess yeah we'll wait
Yeah,
to talk about that. But
I always loved how Buttercup made a racetrack out of Blossom's
yes,
hair.
I just look at the interaction between Bubbles and Buttercup. Was like it's like Bubbles says that's stupid. Oh, but Fluffy the Hair Bunny is cool.
But yeah,
And that's the thing
yeah,
too. Like
it's
I was
pretty
gonna say,
good.
even Fallen Arches, which is like I would even say focuses a little bit more on the comedy of the villains and the girls. Really, like I don't. It almost
Mm,
seems like even just like the interactions between the girls are at like the highest level too. Like, and not like those are like
yeah,
super hard characters to figure out because they're like they're archetypes, but like I don't know something about like they feel really natural. They were there in season 2, but like every episode of
yo,
season 3, I would say is about there.
no, I think they again. We already talked about how like season one at the end of it really figured things out, but I feel like season three has some of the best like just girls interactions. Like don't get me wrong, there's episodes like Los Dos Mojos, for example,
And
in
I mean,
season
like
two
Papa Porini's
where they
Day
like
Adventure is
they
the best,
have
but
really good stuff. Yeah, of course. But I do feel that like season three has a lot, and there'll be a lot of episodes that we're gonna talk about this stuff with, especially in this season. Also, I'm skimming through the episode and I just realized there's a UPS guy
there
in the
is.
main event. Yeah, there's when the monster flies up to eclipse the sun or whatever. Right before it eclipses the sun, there's a shot, and there's a UPS guy, and he actually has a
Yeah,
UPS
you
logo
probably
and
couldn't
everything.
slip that much stuff into the background, even though
Not
that's
logo,
so
but
it's like I
like
don't think anybody
name.
would be like peeved by UPS. I just feel like they just would not allow you to do that. It's like nobody
Yeah,
would sue
right.
us, but we
It's
just
very
can't. If they
interesting that they
decide to sue
did.
us, we can't have you put that in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very
Yeah,
interesting to
I
me.
even like it's a very interesting color that they use for the opening shot, right? That like orange. They
Yeah.
don't usually use that like those like fall colors. That's very cozy. I really
Mm-hmm.
like that. And the whole opening sequence is all visual storytelling, and I just love it. I love how dramatic Blossom is, and it's established
Yeah,
like
for sure.
it's almost like they've kind of like Bubbles was admiring her hair in Coup de Grace, right? But, like yeah, Blossom does have the best
Mm-hmm.
hair,
Yep.
which works because she has
She
the
really
ego
does.
too and thinks she's a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah. I really do find the
wait,
episode
actually, to be
amusing.
honest, we were just talking about like memes and stuff.
And
Like, I don't know if you'll call this a meme, but like this episode is a lot of people's profile pictures on several platforms.
oh yeah, they do have the clip of Buttercup and Bubbles waking up and looking all like
Which
crummy
I
or
prefer that. I
groggy
prefer
or
that a
whatever.
lot
That
more
is
to
true.
the teenage Powerpuff Girls. That
Yeah,
is
me too.
preferable.
Also, Blossom waving her hair back and forth is
I
also a
just love the
gif.
music too. Yeah,
Now that you
so
mention it.
dramatic.
Oh yes, the music's perfect. It's perfectly timed with that and everything. Yeah. The other thing I want to say about this episode, because you commented on like the fall colors in the opening, which like is awesome, first of all. But again, I think season three, there's a lot of episodes in season three that take place in the city. I feel like more so than like season two did. Like season two, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of episodes, but like when it really boils down to it, I mean, how many times were the girls in the city, for a
That's
lot of the
interesting. Yeah.
episodes, right? It's like a lot of the episodes take place. Well, okay, like a lot of the episodes either take place at Pokey Oaks. There's a lot of episodes set there, you know. And then it's like I'm actually pulling up the list. So it's like Dream Scheme that takes place in a different place, like Okay, You Snooze, You Lose takes place in the city, but it's like I feel like season 3 has like a lot of good diversity in like the color schemes of the cities, just like season 1
I think you're right.
had.
And like,
because it's like the first episode has like the yellow, don't get me wrong, the yellow background and white city happens a couple times this season, because there's 2 other episodes I'm immediately thinking of that do the same color scheme. But like then there's this episode where they go blue and gray. I just, that's one of my favorite things about the show, is like every episode you have a different color scheme for the same city. It's just so cool that they do that. It's like, it's not like bland standard, like, no offense to, I don't even think I should use that show as an example. I don't know. I
really want to. I want to see what show you're gonna bash.
Your setting's always gonna look, the background's always gonna look the same. Like, or for the most part, it's like when you think of another cartoon, like let's use Rick and Morty, right? It's like Rick and Morty's neighborhood always looks like Rick and Morty's neighborhood. Like, yeah, granted, that show they go to a bunch of different places, but like at the end of the day, that neighborhood always looks the same. In this show, the girl's house, you just pointed out, like this one has an autumn color scheme. Sometimes there's a yellow sky and like pink trees. Sometimes there's a blue sky and green trees. Sometimes there's a red sky. Like it changes from episode to episode. It's amazing. Like there's no just consistent template that they just recycle. Like they were recreating this every single time. And it's like, on one hand, you could argue, well, that's inefficient as heck. And it's like, yeah, maybe, but like it's visually distinct. It's interesting. It's satisfying. Like I love that about this show. And I think that the main event's mood of like the blue and gray, there's something about that sort of color combo that just really feels like, oh man,
you know what?
That.
That's like satisfying. The funny thing is, like, yeah, they do interesting things with this episode. I would usually say like the city, the scene set in the city are usually the least interesting backgrounds in the show. Just from the point, because I would say like, usually when they're at home, like some of the other locations like Pokey Oaks and stuff, like they usually have more to play with. But like, the city is usually just like a street and buildings. But sometimes they do interesting stuff. They do interesting colors with it in this one. I'm not saying they're boring. Yeah, I'm just saying like they're more, like, they're less interesting.
They do different buildings and different settings within the city. Yeah. Like, sometimes they'll have the museum show up, or they'll have the Capitol building show up, or whatever.
No, don't get me wrong. I love those locations. I just mean
like
park
or whatever.
Standard, like just scenes of them, like just city buildings and like street.
Yeah, but honestly, for me, I don't think that becomes a problem until season 5 and 6, where it's digitally the same thing all the time.
But no, they do interesting stuff with it in this one.
But we're not there yet. Yeah.
It's a very nice quote. Yeah, and I have to say that it's like one of the funniest drawings of the girls is in this, where they have
mm-hmm.
like Blossom and Buttercup are trying to hold back their laughter. Again, it's very hard to get a funny expression out of those character designs, but like they do a very good job with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen that as a couple of people's profile pictures, but not enough.
You hear that?
Exactly. There should at least be a shirt with that on it.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way they figured out how to style their cheeks, yeah. And then there's a drawing of the Smurf in the background, which I'm guessing that's...
So we got a UPS guy
and a Smurf. Isn't that crazy? A freaking Smurf. Which I guess technically this was Hanna-Barbera's next hit after the Smurfs. Because I think like when they were doing What a Cartoon, they were saying like Hanna-Barbera hasn't had a huge hit since the Smurfs. And I guess even though this is technically a Cartoon Network show, I guess this was it. This was their next Smurfs.
Yeah, it was a Cartoon Network show, but they did play the Hanna-Barbera logo at the end.
I would say this is a little better. Well, I'm not going to bash Smurfs here. I'm not. There's no need for that.
It's better.
It is better. I'm sorry.
It's better.
I don't know. I mean,
it's better.
Smurfs is a French comic strip. I'm pretty sure, like if we're talking about the cartoons, I'm sorry, a lot is better than those Smurfs cartoons. I think that's the thing. Like kids these days, I don't think the kids are all right because I don't think they're falling for Smurfs again.
I don't know how well.
Yeah, I don't think they're biting. I think they're just like I don't know. I don't think I like the Smurfs guy. I'm not like I'm sure like Peyo's original if I'm saying his name right, I'm sure his original comics are very good. But like I don't think we need any more animated Smurfs.
Movie did terrible. Apparently, that movie did terribly.
Apparently, I'm sure it did.
At least in terms of critical reception, it has a 20%, a 1.5 out of 4.
Yeah,
let's see. What did it gross? What was its budget and what did it gross? Let's see. What was its budget? budget was 58 million. It did it probably did earn a little bit of money because it made it cost 58 million. They made 121 million, so it probably broke even or got close to that.
Yeah, they're ugly. I don't need to see any more
But
Smurfs.
it wasn't a huge success. Yeah. Well, do you have anything else you want to say about main event?
Smurfs.
Okay. I mean,
I
I don't really
hate
care for the
them. I
Smurfs either,
smurfing
but
hate them.
I got a friend who loathes
And I don't hate them.
I got
They're
a friend
okay.
who loathes
They're
them,
right.
but my friend does. My friend
Really?
absolutely hates them, but nobody knows this friend because he's a real life friend. Anyways, yeah.
I do like that Blossom
Well,
got even with them though,
I think we'll.
and the day was shaved.
Oh yeah, that's a satisfying ending for sure.
So the
Day
narrator
was
is making
shaved.
up for his absence.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
But cool. All right. Well, yeah, that'll about do it for this week's discussion. I think we'll probably skip the Q&A section
This was
for
a
this
long
episode, just
yeah.
because we went on so long. But we will be doing a Q&A section probably in the next episode and moving forward. I did put together a community post on my channel to gather questions that we'll be answering throughout season 3. But as always, you guys can also post questions on the comments section of this episode, whether it be on YouTube or Spotify, or you can listen to our podcast on the other platform if you're listening to on one or the other. And we will be gathering these questions for either later into season 3 or most likely during season 4 to answer. So still feel free to leave questions and we will be answering them in future episodes. So please submit them to us because we still need questions until we get to season 6. But yeah, so we'll probably be doing that in the next episode. Anyways, that should just about do it for this week. So next week we will be jumping into season 3, episode 2, which consists of the pairing of Town and Out and Child Fearing, another pairing that I'm absolutely looking forward to talking about, and we will be doing in the next episode. So that being said, we hope you guys enjoyed this week. Hope you're all looking forward to season 3 just as much as we are, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
Are you pulling my prosthetic leg again?
Am I,
I don't
RJ?
know.
Maybe I am. Tune in next week to find out. You see what I did there?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty clever.
So once again, the day is shaved, thanks to the Powerpuff Girls.